any good acting has behavior with it.
Nate, why? Why such bitterness? What have I done to you? Get out! You're no nephew of mine. As far as I'm concerned, you're as dead as that wretch Cermak.
You have to embellish the words with a certain amount of gravity. Because we're talking about things that are really important here, that are kind of secret. There's a natural kind of darkness when you talk about noir. You know, it's great. I love it.
Greetings, Imagination Consorts. It's Laser Bob coming at you from Silver Platters in Bellevue, Washington in 1987 with the Laserdisc action. You know you want Laserdisc action. I've been giving people Laserdisc action since 1984. You know what that means? I don't, but I'll leave it to your imagination. I have no idea. You know who might know? Somebody who's smarter than me. Somebody who's more charismatic. Somebody who lives in a country I've never lived in. You know him. You love him. He comes to you all the way from Saarbrücken, Deutschland. Every Sunday you get DIETER, Bastian.
Well, Rob, look at you, upstaging me here, me with your sunglasses, trying to be even more cooler than you already are. But I will fight that to the end. And I say, greetings, Imagination Connoisseurs, DIETER here. Here I am, Rocky Like Hurricane, and welcome to the B&B Motel for Let's Get Physical Media, where the C-Wing will be closed today. Max is on a film festival. We will have our fingers crossed that he perhaps wins some prizes. He will tell us all about it next week. But I will get immediately to Rob. Rob, you sneaky bastard. You had the internet in a frenzy this week. Because I saw you on the John Campea show. And you did a Star Wars ranking. And I told you about a German YouTuber who did get into hot water doing a Star Wars ranking. And I was watching the video clip about the Star Wars ranking, and I watched the time bar, and I thought, oh, Rob hasn't much time anymore to get his ranking out. And you started your ranking with the worst Star Wars movie is the first one, Star Wars. And you could literally hear a pin drop in the internet, Rob, with that statement. And then you said, the best is Empire Strikes Back, and there's nothing else. And I had a great laugh, Rob. You got me. You got me with that. Calling Star Wars the worst of the Star Wars bunch. You really got me there. And the other thing, last week, or on one of your observations, because you talked a lot about Mandalorian and, of course, Star Wars, and someone I think on Twitter said to you, but Indiana Jones was just looking for the Ark, and you replied to him with all the stuff with Marion Ravenwood. But I wanted to add something, Rob. The Ark was really a great MacGuffin. We want to keep that out of the hand of that evil corporation from back in my day. There was really high stakes considering that MacGuffin, and it had that great supernatural element. That's for me, like Europe, for me, Raiders is that kind of masterpiece who has everything: action, adventure, stakes, urgency, and that little horror element always, that supernatural element when you have the Ark in the chest and you have that burning with the symbol, and then you had even that little bit of an horror ending considering Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
With all the chests here in that great storage facility, and you was wondering what kind of treasures are lying in here. So the Ark was certainly an awesome MacGuffin.
Well, and also Indiana Jones went after the Ark because it represented to him his whole career, the greatest thing he could ever find. Yeah. It was, and look, I no longer have to try and explain whether or not The Mandalorian should have been made. Not anymore.
What do you mean, Rob? It is in the second weekend. It's a Star Wars movie, so it's number one at the box office. Or
really?
Is it, Rob?
Really?
Or
Well,
is it?
Dieter, look, I take no pleasure in reporting news that I find to be disheartening. But anybody, I mean, we've been talking about on the John Campea show and other movie pundits have been talking about the fact that if you're going to take a television show and put it on the big screen, you need to give audiences something they couldn't get on the big screen from that property. And The Mandalorian and Grogu, look at the title. That's what you got. The Mandalorian and Grogu, nothing more, nothing less. If they were smart, they would have given the title of that movie, they would have given it something else. Like even Raiders of the Lost Ark was not called Indiana Jones the Archaeologist. Although they did make it, once you met him, it was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and the Last Crusade.
Yeah.
But so let's get into, first of all, let's talk about the domestic box office and the extraordinary, unprecedented things that are happening at the box office.
I heard about it, Rob. I heard it. Tell me all about it.
So A24's Kane Parsons movie, Backrooms, is at $81.4 million domestic.
Insane, Rob.
And at 100...
Because I had no knowledge, just that the movie is coming out, and I think I stumbled across that found footage movie which came out 4 years ago by accident, but I didn't give it any much thought back in the day,
118 million worldwide for a
it
movie
hasn't
that
even
cost...
opened here, Rob. Yeah,
The movie cost $10 million.
yeah.
It's
Insane.
already deep into profitability. What looks to be on a global basis, the number one movie. A24 claims that this is a number one record opening for what is the youngest filmmaker ever. Kane Parsons, or as he's known online, Kane Pixels, is 20 years old.
Unbelievable.
The previous youngest filmmaker to have a number one opening was Josh Trank at 27 for 2011's Chronicle. It had a $22 million opening. Certainly, this is the biggest opening A24 has ever seen in its 14-year history. Big Gen Z audience here for the Chernin Entertainment co-finance Blumhouse Atomic Monster 21 Laps Oddfellow production with 88% under 35. Overall, 62% guy leaning. Chernin and A24 co-financed the under 10 million production. Half of the audience came because it was an A24 movie. The other half came because they were Backrooms fans. International filed in exactly where you told it would, 36 million. Then Mandalorian and Grogu, you might have thought
Number two.
and it would have been number two, right? You would be wrong. You would be wrong. Domestically, the number two movie is Obsession, which added 126 theaters this week and was up 10% from last week, and it was up in its second week 36 or 39% above where it was first week. This is unprecedented.
Yeah. Certainly.
Now keep
Well,
in
at least
mind.
I can't remember. I can't remember any movie that did that.
Okay, you got to keep in mind that domestically, Obsession is only playing in 2,781 theaters, which means its per-screen average is way up. Now we go to number three. The Mandalorian and Grogu is at 4,300 theaters. I mean, that's about 45% more theaters, and in its second week, it only managed to gross 25 million. So both Obsession, which cost, by the way, $750,000 to make, and Backrooms, which cost $10 million to make, both smoked The Mandalorian and Grogu, which cost $165 million to make, and God knows how much to market.
Yeah. Even over the week, Obsession was number one in, I think, Wednesday and Thursday over Mandalorian.
Yep. And I would a lot has been made of the fact that both Backrooms, let's face it, Backrooms is an IP, but it was a crowdsourced, it was an open source IP that miraculously appeared on the internet based on a photograph that was taken in the early 2000s that was turned into a meme in the 20 teens, and in 2019 a paragraph was given to define this photograph, and the rest is history. And Kane Pixels ran with this, as did a lot of other people, and they were able to turn it into a film. But what's really interesting to me about this is Hollywood is going to puzzle over this. And look, I have worked in the entertainment business, and I started working at Warner Brothers in 1989. And no other business in the world has people that run it that know less about their final product than the people who work in Hollywood do. And they're going to be puzzling over this, and they're going to take the wrong lessons away from this. But what people should understand is, it's not about money. Here's the problem. What Hollywood wants to do is make a $150 million movie that makes $1 billion. And so that's what they're shooting for. But that's what you need to do, is you need to make 10 movies for $10 million that each make $200 million. So you have more movies to put on your streaming service. You're going to probably make the same amount of money, but you're cultivating new talent, and your return on investment is much bigger. But you can't get the big numbers that are sexy for investors. Yep. But then again, you're not going to lose the kind of money that they're losing. I mean, The Mandalorian and Grogu is going to ultimately wind up as a losing proposition. It's Star Wars' second failure after Solo.
Yeah, it probably won't even reach Solo, Rob. I believe it won't even reach.
And it's. I mean, I could get in and do Monday morning quarterbacking, but I won't.
Yeah.
But what you have is, they talk about how Gen Z wouldn't go to the movies, but now this year Gen Z is returning back to the movies. What Gen Z hasn't had are their own movies. Hollywood has been giving people movies, but I've always said pop culture has a half-life of 20 years. That's my theory. What you make movies for this generation, they'll turn up. And obsession goes right into how difficult it is. Gen Z has trouble dating and creating real intimacy with other people. And then Backrooms is an IP that belongs to Gen Z. It's memeable, and it's something that was created by them. And so Kane Pixels, who is 20 years old, who, by the way, if you watch Curry, who directed Obsession, and Kane,
Curry Parker.
Yeah, if you watch them speak, both of these guys are incredibly intelligent and very articulate people, and they've got it. And Curry's also got an extra added fashion sense. That guy's already got that going on as well. So it'll be interesting to see, because Curry Parker's already made his second movie, and I'm dubious.
Oh, okay.
It's a movie about paranormal investigators that run across real paranormal phenomenon, and now that could be good or it could be not so good. So we'll see. I mean, he already made that film, but it doesn't matter. He should get what he can, while he can, when he can, and go make that $10 million deal. Go make that $20 million deal. You go, boy. But you're looking at this, and somebody keeps wanting me to talk about Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic. But that the money it's making doesn't surprise me at all. We were saying that on the John Campea show months and months and months ago. Michael Jackson is a beloved figure around the world, despite his travails later in life here. So it's not surprising. We were calling that movie to be $1 billion grossing film 6 months ago, when we first saw some of the material at CinemaCon a year ago. So that's kind of why it's not really surprising to me that that's making a lot of money. But Backrooms and Obsession, I love seeing emerging filmmakers crush it. And they both had done work. It's not like they came out of nowhere and it's their first time making something. Yeah. I mean, Kane Pixels has been making Backrooms movies for the internet for years now, and Curry Barker was making his own his own films as well. So good on them.
We certainly honed his craft with Backrooms, with the movie now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's great. But Mandalorian and Grogu,
Yeah.
and it shows, I think it really shows that you cannot rely on the name. Star Wars is a tarnished brand. I think it's one great movie away from becoming a great brand again. But you know what? Corporate interests should never be allowed to define storytelling. It never works. And Disney bought Star Wars, and they put their corporate interests above the storytelling that they purchased. You can't take stories and craft them to suit your corporate agenda. That will never work. I don't care how many Black Rocks and Vanguards tell you what kind of initiatives you have to inject into these films, or it doesn't work. Stories must be true to themselves. As I always say, Dieter, the greatest fiction is the most truthful, and corporate interests infecting storytelling does not work. And it certainly hasn't worked with Star Wars, and Disney should take a long, hard look at themselves. Because I don't think anyone thought this was a great idea, except the people at Disney. So, and it's not a good movie.
That's the main take away from it, Rob. Not even
not a
worth
good movie.
discussing. Yeah.
By the way, for those of you who don't know, I'm wearing these sunglasses because I have to wear readers, and I ran out of my cheap-ass Amazon glasses. I broke my last pair, so I have to get more. So they always send you sunglasses readers. So these are the only ones left. I don't normally use them. That's why I'm wearing sunglasses. So I'm not doing it because I'm a douche. I mean, you could call me a douche, but that doesn't have anything to do with why I'm wearing sunglasses.
Yeah. And I heard you talk about, and I heard you talk with Alvaro about Backrooms. Is Backrooms, Rob, a little bit identical to Exit 8 or completely something different?
I would say that Backrooms exists in the same space as Exit 8 does. They're different, but they do have similar DNA.
Okay. It's good to know. But insane. Box office intake of those movies. Never expected that. Never. Because I didn't know how big Backrooms actually was. Had no idea.
Yeah.
Had no idea.
Okay. So, what should we do? Oh, I didn't even finish the box office.
Yeah. Because this is the big takeaway. We have Michael probably at 4.
Michael is 4 at 339.9 million domestic. The Breadwinner, the new comedian movie, 7.5 million at number 5. Devil Wears Prada 2 is at number 6. It's now at 209.3 million. Now, I saw, in addition to seeing Backrooms, I saw Pressure, the new World War II movie. It's a terrific film. Really, really good. That came out from Focus Features. It made 7.75 million.
Yeah.
The Sheep Detectives has grossed a total of 54.5 million domestic. Passenger is down 70%, up to 15.3 million. Mortal Kombat 2 is at 77.7 million domestic. And Tuner, which I really want to go see, maybe I'll see that today, is at 1.8 million. And then do you want me to dive into the worldwide box office?
If you have those numbers, Rob?
Let's see what we've got.
Because like I told you, Rob, the Obsession and Backrooms haven't even started in Germany, even if the German market is not that big intake as a whole, or the whole box office.
I don't know. I'm looking here. Let me see.
So perhaps these two movies even have more markets to go still, internationally.
Yeah. So, I guess that's. There were some. I thought that there was some.
Yeah.
There was some domestic numbers, but no, I guess not. We'll just leave it with international numbers.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it with the domestic numbers. There you go. So.
And I hear, Rob, that the movie Pressure is about considering D-Day and the weather situation.
Yeah.
When do we start attacking? Okay.
Yeah, they called in this ringer of a weatherman who almost canceled D-Day because the weather was bad. And indeed, well, you just got to see it. I love World War II stories, and it was a fascinating story I'd never heard about before. Brendan Fraser plays Ike Eisenhower. The performances were terrific. It was beautifully directed. It had an incredible score. It was an A-list production from top to bottom, and I really loved it.
Awesome to hear. Let me get quickly, Rob, into the stuff that I've seen digital. I don't know, Rob, if you had the time to go through all 8 episodes because it came out on Wednesday, but I have seen Spider-Noir completely. Europe, you have seen completely?
I've only seen 2 episodes.
Have you seen 2 episodes? Okay. For me, thoroughly enjoyed it. Totally greatly done. I wasn't even expecting that much. It was not big on my radar. I know they were doing something like that. And what I did, Rob, is actually, I love that Amazon gives you the option, black and white or color.
Amazing.
What I did, Rob, is I switched it. 1 episode in black and white, the next one in color. 1 black and white and in color. And if you're one of the people who can't watch in black and white, the color version is great too. It has a specific color style to it. So I thoroughly enjoyed both versions, considering I've got them 50-50, 4 episodes in black and white, 4 in color. And even to have that choice is, for me, is great what Amazon has done. And like I said, and it's even if it features a Spider-Man, the show is not for kids for me. There were even some episodes who got here in Germany the 16 rating. 3 or 4 episodes got a 16 rating here. So the show is not really for kids, considering some stuff that's in it, Rob. There is some horrifying stuff. You will get to it later when you go through the series, but thoroughly enjoyed it. Happy that Amazon dropped all at once, and I would totally take a second season, and the first is complete, considering the case. So you will get another one, great. If you don't, you can thoroughly enjoy the first season, and you don't got left there with a cliffhanger, So thoroughly great what they've done here. Because I never expected, when Into the Spider-Verse came out and the scene with the Spider-Noir game with Nicolas Cage, I never expected them to do a live-action version of that. And it should even thrill Max Allan Collins, our noir aficionado. I think he will like it too. Then, on digital, I saw Over Your Dead Body, which is a remake of the Norwegian movie The Trip with Noomi Rapace. And that movie already was insanely enjoyable, one of my favorites. And Over Your Dead Body is a great remake too, because they really stick to the formula or the blueprint that The Trip already gave them. So if you stuck to that blueprint, you don't do anything wrong, even if that remake is not really needed. Your choice, The Trip, or you choose Over Your Dead Body. Both are great, but really mostly to 95% the same movie. Then, Rob, we had a super chat last week that came in. I will get to it later. I don't remember the username, but he asked us about Faces of Death, Rob. And if you would have told me, Rob, Deets, I've got the rights to Faces of Death, should we make a remake? And I would go, Rob, what are you talking about? How can you remake Faces of Death in this day and age with the internet at your fingertips and all the stuff you can watch already on YouTube? How can you remake Faces of Death? And I think, Rob, they really found a great approach. And I would say it's only a remake in name, but not in the content itself. Because we have someone who's working for a platform like YouTube, and she goes through videos. She flags them, allow them or remove them, and she stumbles across scenes where she's not really sure if it's real or not. And a friend or someone in a chat room says, oh, that reminds me of Faces of Death, the video nasty from back in the day. So someone is recreating those kills from the Video Nasty from back in the day. So I thought that really a nice approach with this one, because I wouldn't have any idea how you would do a remake of that Video Nasty. And speaking of that Video Nasty, Rob, I actually got it yesterday. Where is it? Where is it? The 4K from Vinegar Syndrome, but not the big one, just the normal one. Here it is. I already switched the cover because I like this one more. This is the original, the Video Nasty from back in the day. And Rob, I would even say Face of Death for us back in the day was a little bit like the Blair Witch Project in 1999. Is it real? Is it not real? You know,
Right.
what they are showing to us. And I even remember some scenes from those movies. It was infamous. But really, Rob, I quite enjoyed the remake, I have to say. Really nice what they've done. Nice idea to it, to give it a little bit of fresh spin, but it's only a remake, I would say, in name. It's not really the same movie, or just show you some kills. Then, of course, Rob, on Friday, it ended. The 5th season, we'll get the 6th. I ended For All Mankind, season 5. Once again, had a nice time with all 5 seasons and with the 5th one too. But Rob, full transparency, I had to go to YouTube to some reviews because I had no idea, considering the epilogue, we won't give it away, what that meant or what that was harken back to. That was too out of my mind. I wasn't aware. Oh, that's harken back to season 3, I believe.
Yeah.
So I wasn't aware of that. So I had to go to YouTube to some smarter people tell me it's harkens back to season 3. So I would love to watch all the stuff again. And the season 5 for me had a really modern sensibility with considering automating processes, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is stuff that's at my firm is always, you know, makes stuff more automatic, you know? You don't need the workers anymore. So it really had a modern approach to it with the 5th season. Really enjoyed it. And of course we had emotional stuff happening too. And I shed some tears, Rob, here and there. We'll not deny that.
Now, did you watch any of Star City?
Not yet, Rob. Tell me about it.
First of all, you know, Bill Hunt had been raving about it, and he had seen the review copies, and I hadn't been down there to see the show yet. The first 5 episodes, it's magnificent. It's a very different show. It's much more of a Cold War spy thriller, and we see younger versions of our characters that we know. I loved. It's beautifully made. It's beautifully photographed, and the acting. I mean, it's all British and European actors, and the show just has a polished sheen and a.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a Cold War thriller. It's like a John le Carré novel. I mean, it's so good, and I absolutely loved it. I watched the first 2 episodes, and I'm.
Yeah.
You know what I love about both shows is they both presuppose their audiences are smart, and that the audience has a cursory understanding of the space program. I mean, we live in a world where people believe the Earth is flat. We never went to the moon. Everything is a conspiracy. And to see that science itself and history and human endeavor, I mean, these both are shows about literally about people, you know, as opposed to being about technology. And I've understood people want to get that sci-fi injection of special effects and action and all that. But For All Mankind and now Star City, I would equate them more. I've often said that the TV series Friday Night Lights, if you made a Star Trek show set in East Texas football stadiums, it would be Friday Night Lights. For All Mankind and now Star City are the closest things to the intent and spirit of Star Trek. And, you know, this 5th season of For All Mankind, in a way, it was what Starfleet Academy should have been, because we had a lot of characters, young characters that had graduated from high school, and they were stepping into the larger world and what they were going to do afterwards. And it blew Starfleet Academy away, which was a show that was written by infants for infants and really destroyed any kind of credibility with the Star Trek franchise. Apologies to those of you who liked it, but it was a shitty show, and it was horribly written. And compare that to the humanity and the intelligence on display in both For All Mankind. I'm glad For All Mankind's getting a 6th and final season, because they always talked about bringing it up to the present day.
Nice.
And, I hear people talking about, well, I want to see aliens. No, it's not that kind of show. I'll be very disappointed if they end with a giant alien spacecraft that Earth meets up with. It wasn't like that. And the way, if people understand, if you watch the 5th season, what they discover, the profound impact and the ramifications of characters explaining this on the show, and says, well, this means this. If it's true that, if A is true, it means that there could potentially be B all around us. And he explains why. And that's what it's not about. For All Mankind is not about meeting it's not about the fucking Federation of Planets being founded. It's about what we can hope to think about, where we could have been as a society if the Apollo program or the space program wasn't simply political but was allowed to continue. And, it's a what if about what if our intelligence was allowed to flourish? What if our humanity is allowed to flourish? And it's an inherently optimistic show, even though this season got dark.
Don't demand too much, Rob, considering that. And even with the 5th season, I tell you again, you go alone into your space and walk on Mars or wherever you want to go. For me, you do it alone. I will not follow you to your final frontier. Have you seen how dangerous this place is? Have you seen it over the 5 seasons?
I would, if somebody
could die
offered me tomorrow a
instantly.
one-way trip to Mars, I'd go. And I'm sure people would be happy to
Without me, Rob.
pack for me and
Without
send me
me.
on my way.
Yeah, because it's a dangerous environment. Even if you're in your own habitat, And considering season 5, this will not get 6th season, but it was a final season for the HBO show Hex, which I thoroughly enjoyed. 5th season, once again, it is one of those shows who constantly was at the same high quality as it was when they started with the 1st season. Thoroughly enjoyed it. If Jean Smart will get her 5th Emmy for it, I don't know. But for me, this was a great ending. And I wouldn't even mind, Rob, for Hannah Einbinder to get a spin-off, because her career in Hollywood is just starting. So for me, perhaps a spin-off for her, I would not say no to that. That was the stuff that I've seen, Rob, on digital.
Oh, okay. Well, should we show some physical media? I have kind of a weird, eclectic grouping of films. What about you?
Okay. Then I would say you start this time, Rob. It's yours.
Okay, I will start. I have to say, a member of the channel, Victoria, was the first person to make me aware of this movie, as I like to call her, the Vixter. And then Alvaro also talked about this film, and I finally was able to get a review copy. And I have to say, I would have bought it, but they just happened to have a review copy they offered, so I took it. Twinless. Now, this is a really surprising, to me, this represents the very best of indie cinema. It touches on a lot of things, but it's very much a human story of two guys that meet. They both have lost their twin brothers, and it kind of goes from there. And this is both a terrific story about friendship, about humanity. It is an LGBTQ story, but not overtly. However, it is very explicit in certain points. But I loved this film. I absolutely adored it. And James Sweeney, who this is James Sweeney here, he both wrote and directed this and stars. This is terrific. Dylan O'Brien stars. The star of Sam Raimi's, we just saw him on, what is it? Send Help. He stars in this. He is absolutely astonishing. And the Rhaenyra Stark from Game of Thrones, she stars Ainsley. I forget her last name, but she was terrific as well. This is a wonderful film. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Happy to own it.
Which would show it too, Rob, because I got my copy too, and I watched it, I believe, yesterday. The only
what did you think?
I fairly, like you, enjoyed it, and I was kind of surprised how far they go with Dylan O'Brien and, him.
Yeah, I mean,
considering some stuff,
if
I was
watching
quite
gay
surprised.
sex bothers you, it doesn't bother me because I'm gay adjacent.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, that they went for it.
The
It was hot.
only little criticism, but not really criticism, kind of a trope. We have one character who holds some truths back. He starts a little bit lying, and we know it will get to the point where that bubble is gonna burst. So this is not new in that kind of sense, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm but a little bit lackluster, Rob, considering this is his first movie. He wrote it. That should have had some extras on it,
Yeah,
an
yeah.
audio commentary.
It's
like
his
something
second.
like that.
It's his second feature. It's his second feature.
Oh, second feature.
Yeah.
So on that front, it's just a Blu-ray, just a movie without anything. That's a little bit disappointing considering this film, because it would probably be interesting to hear a little
Let
bit
me
more
ask
about-
you: when
about
you
the
were
movie.
watching this, did you have any idea where it was going to go?
Not exactly, but you could at the beginning. We have some kind of similar scenarios where okay, he's probably involved with something that starts the story.
I just thought it was very surprising. I wasn't
Oh, okay,
expecting.
okay.
The storyline was like, wait, what? I mean, it took all these turns where I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So which
Okay.
I thought was terrific.
Oh, that's nice, Rob, that you was surprised. I wasn't exactly knowing what was going on, but I had a kind of sixth sense. Okay, he probably has something to do what has happened. But there were nice twists considering the funeral, where he showed up. That was great. So really nice one. Fortunately, no bonus features. Okay, back to you. Goodness.
Then I got a film that I keep meaning to watch it, but I can't. I was dying to see this, Surat. This was up for. Did you get that too?
Yeah, I got the 4K now, Rob. I got the 4K
shit,
from,
man!
from
Where'd you
Bingo.
get the 4K? I think I'm gonna want to get the 4K. I haven't
from
watched
the UK,
it.
Rob. But just the normal, just the 4K, nothing special to it. And like you, I still haven't watched it, but I heard, especially for us sound freaks, that the sound design.
Yeah,
So
it's a thriller.
great
I
movie.
can't wait to watch this. By the way, this has a bunch of bonus features on it.
This one neither, Rob. I believe this one
Well,
has nothing to it.
maybe I'll just live with this one then. But Surat,
Yep.
I got some Warner Archive stuff, which I'm
Okay.
happy to have. I got The Seven Faces of Dr. Lau, a movie I've really loved since I was a kid. Tony Randall.
Go full frame, Rob. Go
Okay.
full frame.
I'll go full frame. Here we go. The Seven Faces of Dr. Lau, which we once did for a Whining About Movies episode, so I'm happy to have this. And then Art Carney and Lily Tomlin in The Late Show. I haven't seen this movie since I was a kid. I remember loving this movie. So happy to have this from Warner Archive. Very exciting. And then, of course, I showed a couple of Warner Archive titles last week, which was also good. Then I did get a small box from Kino Lorber. Really interesting stuff. A lot of crime thrillers. A lot of Italian crime movies. Vertigo for a Killer. I mean, I love they're constantly putting out great stuff. Birds of Prey. I think this is a French film.
Yeah, Lino Ventura.
Is it a French film? Lino Ventura. No, maybe it's Italian too. Must be Italian.
Just look at
Jose
the language,
Giovanni.
Rob. Perhaps the language on the back will tell us more if it's
Yeah,
French or
it's
English.
no, it's French. This is French.
Okay.
And this is French too, actually. So these are French, not Italian. But I love them. I love all. And then a Sidney Poitier movie I've heard of but never have seen, The Last Man, another crime thriller. So interesting there. Some interesting titles there from Kino Lorber. Then, based on, I've always wanted to see this, but based on Alvaro pestering me about this, this is Miguel Franco's Sundown with Tim Roth, and he made New Order, the Mexican film New Order, which I loved. And Alvaro
Yeah.
said, this has been out for a while. Alvaro said, do not read anything about this. Go in cold. And so I'm going to go in cold like I went in with Twinless cold. So I'm looking
Did he make this before next order, Rob, or after?
New Order?
So-
I don't think so. He either made it right before or right after. I think right
Oh,
after.
okay.
So, and then this was kind of fun from Kino Lorber.
Yeah.
They sent me, I have never seen this, The Unearthly Stranger. It has John Neville in it from The Adventures of Baron Munchausen and The X-Files. And this is a science fiction movie from 63? Yeah, from 63 that I've never seen. I love science fiction films from the era, especially if they're British. And thank you, Kino Lorber. It's got a reversible sleeve.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So can't wait to have this. Again, it looks like, we'll get to the news section, but it looks like Paramount is going to turn off the spigot of their catalog titles to Kino Lorber. But this is, by the way, this is not Paramount. But this is Studio Canal. But happy to get this. Always happy to get more genre movies that I've never seen before. So that's exciting. And as you showed last week, I did get my 4K of Brian Fuller's Dust Bunny. So I picked that up, and that's my first haul.
Yeah. I think in Dust Bunny is only available as a 4K in the States.
Yeah.
I think and here it's actually the other way around, Rob. It's only available on a Blu-ray, but not a 4K.
Yeah. Which is wild. I mean, I love it. Looks
It's
great.
right, yeah.
The wide aspect ratio and all that. So
Yeah. So I start with my little bit of first haul, or perhaps all. Like I showed you, Faces of Death, which comes, I forgot, with a poster, which features the old one, and I believe Vinegar Syndrome had actually a bigger box set, but for me this is just enough to revisit that video nasty. That I totally, some scenes from back in the day really stuck in my mind. And Rob, this week on your Find Your Niche eBay site, which kind of poster did you put out? For which reason?
I put out. Oh, I know where you're going with this. Yes, I put out the James Bond posters to celebrate the release of James Bond First Light.
Correct, Rob. And I started the game yesterday. Nothing to it, unfortunately. There's not a steelbook. There is a steelbook edition, but there's only the standard MRA, and then there's 2 extremely expensive collector's editions. So you don't get a nice middle ground, which I always prefer, just to get a steelbook with an art book, perhaps. But this is just a standard edition. And I started really enjoying my first playthrough at the moment, but I'm still in the training phase, Rob. And I got the first, or one of the first achievements was called With Love from Malta. Not from Russia, but from Malta. So First Light, thoroughly enjoying it at the moment, but we will see how it goes. But it's nothing too fancy, just a disc, which is, of course, in the PS5 today. And I got it just a little bit cheaper than the digital version. That's why I always say, if you buy a gaming console, buy it with the disc tray, because you can get the disc perhaps a little bit cheaper. If you only buy the digital model, you will have to take the price that they offering you and have to wait for perhaps be a Schnäppchen. But considering disc, you sometimes can make it at least a little bit cheaper. Blind buy for me, Western with Guy Pearce and Bill Pullman. It's called Killing Faith. It's a German release. It's just a 4K. So, but I've not seen it. Don't know anything about it. Hopefully, good. Blind buy, Killing Faith. Then we get to Lionsgate and their Westron label, who put out 4K stuff. And I already own the Via Vision edition for all 4 movies, I believe, from The Substitute. But I bought the first one, again, from Westron, in the 4K edition, so you get different cover variation beneath. And I love actually, Rob, from Western, those transparent standard
Yeah.
MRAs.
And of
4K.
course, I did write an article about this movie for the Lionsgate Limited website.
For the substitute, Rob.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nicely done. You get a Blu-ray and the 4K. Because I read, Rob, your essay on, what was it? Damn, I forgot.
The
But
Arrival
I read
or The
one-
Ninth
one-
Gate?
The Arrival, correct. Rob. The Arrival. It was The Arrival because we talked about The Arrival, correct. And like you always said, people can't find those stuff. And I had to look at when I scrolled. Oh, at the bottom here.
Yeah,
Here
it's
it
at the
is.
bottom, very bottom.
Yeah. But I finally found it. And they, I think they feature, every title has an essay, not always from you, but from other people too, considering
Yeah.
some of the movies. So the substitute in the Westron version. An anime I heard good things about, but haven't even seen it yet. Scarlet, which came out this year. This is the 4K steelbook that they put out. So we got from Sony. So we got the 4K and the Blu-ray and the inside. Oh, that looks amazing, great here with the dragon. I have no idea what it's about, but I heard good things about the movie. Not seen it yet. Am I right? Yeah, Scarlet. And even check the title. Then Rob already showed it last week, but for me, I've got it too. The final of the Ilsa movies, The Wicked Warden, and Rob showed it last week that the original title is actually this one, Credder, and they just rebranded it to fit into the Ilsa mold. So we got the 4K and the Blu-ray from Kino. And let me just see. You get the slipcover is the switchable one. So I hope I had great time with the first three. So hopefully Credder will be to my liking too. And Rob showed it too. I've got it as a Schnäppchen because it was really price reduced from Kino Norma. The Gene Hackman, Uncommon Valor, but nothing too special about it. Just an O-ring, no reversible cover artwork, but it was nicely price reduced. Let me just put the media book back. From America, because in the UK I think it's called Good Boy, but they rebranded or renamed it in America because we had Good Boy, the movie with the dog. So in America the movie is called Heel. But I haven't seen it.
Oh, wow.
Heard some good things about it. Don't know exactly what I will be getting into. And I think, if I remember correctly, it's called Good Boy in the UK. But it's not a 4K, just a Blu-ray from Magnolia. I think it's Magnolia, yes. But I haven't seen it. Funky and fucked up, it says on the back as a quote. Wickedly strange and twisty turny throughout. Okay. We're really looking forward to watching Heel. Cat in the Bag for me. And I loved her since Sucker Punch, actually. Emily Browning here. It seems in some sort of time travel movie. It's called One More Shot. So tequila shot, it seems. No idea. Blind buy. Hopefully good. Luckily, at least reversible cover artwork to get rid of the German rating. One More Shot. Okay, Rob. This would be a little bit of my first haul. I saved the little bit bigger ones for later.
Well, that's good. So what should we do? Do the news?
If there's no super chats, Rob, I would say.
Oh, yeah, there's, I don't
the
know.
news
Let's
section.
look. Let's see if there are super chats. There are.
Okay.
Tom Jr. Jackson says, is that RMB or is that Tom Cruise? Filling in for him. Dieter, it's always good to see you. Well, looks like University of Illinois. Yeah, no, I could never be Tom Cruise much as I want. Hitchhiker42 says, who's been a member for 36 months, says, hi, Rob, I had to buy that one sheet of Star Trek The Motion Picture on your eBay shop. And have you seen that Super Deluxe Edition is releasing Tina Turner Private Dancer in Atmos?
Ooh.
Well, first of all, Hitchhiker 42, thank you for supporting that Star Trek the Motion Picture poster is in very good condition as well. I don't know when you bought it. You should have it because that stuff gets shipped out within a day or two. But report back. I'm glad you got it. I don't know if I've decided to give up the lobby card set for Star Trek 2 and Motion Picture, but it's very hard. I have to go through all the posters personally, and I've been going through this.
We know that, Rob.
And it's very, very difficult. It's tough. It's tough. I did keep the Star Trek the Motion Picture insert, however, because I've owned Star Trek the Motion Picture posters throughout my life, and I'm kind of looking at it like, okay, I'm moving into the last quarter. I've always thought of my life as like a football game. Each 20 years is a quarter. And I'm probably not going to make it to the end of the fourth quarter. I'll be lucky if I live to be 80. So I've got to think, like, would I rather have the younger generation get these posters? Do I want to hang on to them? Will I be able to, like, put them in a place where... And I ask myself that because I have some posters, dude, that I bought in, like, I have an original Blade Runner one sheet I bought in 1982 that I have never hung up.
Okay.
Never hung it up. It's right over there. I've never hung it up. In 82.
So,
that means for 44 years I've held on to this poster and I've never enjoyed it. So why have it?
Okay. Yeah. At least you have it, Rob. That's always
I know sometimes it's just enough to know it's there. Well, Hitchhiker 42, I want to say thank you for that.
Considering the poster I purchased, Rob, that should be around the time when that company started opting out, considering doing stuff. The posters that you acquired, you said, is only to a certain year. Until the studios took it over.
Well, for the most part, the vintage stuff. But there is, Craig did collect. He went on to collect stuff. We do have stuff that went up into the 90s.
Okay,
but 90s, not. Okay. It's the thing about the 90s is that they're not nearly as desirable because the studios printed a lot more posters.
Yeah.
So they're not as fun. So
yeah.
But that's not a bad thing.
No.
Alexander Wilson, who we haven't heard from in a while. Love to hear from Alexander Wilson. He always has interesting things to say. Alexander Wilson says, you said that Star Wars as a corporate IP is forever relegated to mediocrity. The answer to that is a clear no, and it's a no because of Star Wars that Tony Gilroy delivered. The corporate talk is just an excuse for bad writing and storytelling. Well, let's stop with that and say, you're right. I would agree with you, but that because the thing about Tony Gilroy is because he came in and fixed Rogue One, it was a mess, and he earned the right to go make the show that he wanted to make, and Lucasfilm did support him for that. And yes, Andor is the one bright, shining spot of Lucasfilm under Disney. And that was because Tony Gilroy and his family, his two other brothers, were given carte blanche to do Andor. But the thing is, as a Disney Plus show, it wasn't. It didn't have to deal with the box office. So, But you're right. You are right. Like, a good thing can happen, but that was not the norm. That is the exception. So, and Alexander Wilson goes on to say, I was listening to a big podcaster who has friends who work for Lucasfilm, and she said that one of their biggest problems is Filoni and the story group have a narrow vision of what Star Wars is, and she was like, Andor doesn't fit their vision, and they don't like that show. I have heard that too, and it's interesting to me because it's apparent to me that Filoni has a very animation sensibility, which means Jedis and lightsabers and all that. But if you really go back to the original Star Wars trilogy, while we saw Luke emerging from and becoming a new Jedi, in Star Wars, aside from a little bit of the teachings of the Force, there's not a lot of that in Star Wars and Empire. There's a little, and of course, in the end, you see Vader and Luke show down. But I I think Filoni does have a narrow view of Star Wars. And I think it's like when I talk to a lot of people, especially people that grew up with the sequel or the prequel trilogy, they think that Star Wars is all about the Jedi. And I reject that notion. I think there's a lot more going on, but I think, Alexander, your friend's right. He goes on to say, the podcaster says she has friends who brought stories and scripts to Lucasfilm that are in the vein of Andor with its relationship to historical rebellions and revolutions. The story group told one person that these stories are not fit for Star Wars. Well, I think that is a big problem. And I think Dave Filoni, you can see the work hasn't entirely... look, The Mandalorian was, I thought, a much more infantile show than it should have been. Ahsoka didn't really work very well. And, this reliance on going back to animation, so much of their animation has been the basis for their live action. And I think that's a mistake. I think it's a mistake. And I totally agree with what Alexander is saying here. The podcaster also had a friend on The Acolyte who said that the pitch and the manifest were about a Sith main character, and Lucasfilm agreed to it. But then they reneged on that because they said they didn't want to show a Sith character doing heroic things. See, this is the kind of thinking, this is what gets you into trouble. This kind of corporate mindset. She said that the terrible twin characters in the plot came directly from Lucasfilm, who wanted to do another light to dark story. It became a half show written by Lucasfilm and the other half by Headland, and the show became a show meant for no one. Again, that's what I'm saying. Corporations and studios are not the people that should be writing the screenplays. They should be trusting their creative people. So, I think all of that is exactly what I would have expected to hear, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Fred says, do you think the new Bond movie will embrace the Bond tropes or run from them? I hope they keep some of the tropes that still work in the modern age. Well, they're still going to have to make a Bond movie. I don't know. I hope they keep the James Bond theme, and the gun barrel.
Sure.
But I think they're going to try and make a very different kind of movie. Look, I don't think the Daniel Craig era worked. I understand what they were trying to do, and I really love Casino Royale. But I know everyone loves Skyfall, but I don't, because it's a movie where Bond fails the whole time. I think the James Bond franchise has a very big problem in that the world is so different now than it was in the Cold War, that the good guys have often become the bad guys in the world that we live in now. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they reinvent Bond as a character.
Yeah.
But in terms of some of the tropes, I'd like to see Q, I'd like to see the gadgets, I'd like to see the cars, I would like to see all that. But, the big problem is, who do you find for a villain? Who's the Bond villain that Bond's going to go after? When there are so many villains that are in the world right now that are apparently on the side of good. So that's a tough proposition.
And until we know what the end result will be, you can certainly play First Light for the beginning.
Yes, and it even has a Lana Del Rey theme song. So anyway, I am caught up with Stubble McShave says, Dave Filoni's Star Wars philosophy is that it's for 12-year-olds. We'll never see any mature storytelling while he's in charge. Yeah, because I think he himself is kind of an arrested adolescent. And, I talk to a lot of people that really pigeonhole Star Wars as being one thing. Oh, it has to have Jedi. It has to have all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't think it does. I think it can do all kinds of different things. So.
Like Edward showed us.
Yep. Absolutely. So we're caught up there.
Okay. You still have stuff to show, Rob? Then I would give it over to you. Or we can do the news section.
No, we can do news later. Or we can show stuff. And I've just got a few more things.
Okay.
Lionsgate, I have to admit, I did not buy this from Second Sight. But Lionsgate Limited put out Ginger Snaps as their latest Vestron release.
I'm waiting on that too.
And again, this is the 4K. I think this is the same transfer that Second Sight used. There's a lot of, by the way, special features on here. It does say that
but I
there's.
think, Rob, isn't the second side just a Blu-ray?
It might be. I don't know. It might very well be. Different cover.
Nice.
And it does say that there's exclusive special features just to the Lionsgate limited version, so that's cool.
If you want all special features, you need to double dip.
You need to double dip. I got a movie, a favorite of mine from Arrow.
Yeah.
I got Neil Jordan's Mona Lisa with Bob Hoskins. Great crime drama. Another great banger from Arrow. I like that in addition to all the stuff they're doing from Warner Brothers and Asian stuff that they're putting out recently, they also have a commitment to British cinema, which is very nice to see. Let's see if this does have the alternate cover, which I also like.
Nice.
Really like this movie. So, and there's, again, a lot of great special features, and it's the typical Arrow excellence. I think this is a UK-only disc, however, but it is 4K, so it'll play.
Yeah.
So I was happy to have that.
Sometimes the rights differ between America and UK. And
Yeah, totally.
From one company you get the UK version, and another company you get US.
Yes, 100%. So I'm happy to have Mona Lisa. Now, my last disc is my favorite disc of the year. No, I mean, not of the year, of the week, but it is one of my favorite releases of the year. I had hoped that this movie would get a release as part of their Sony Classics box set in 4K, because I only own this in DVD. And this was, when I was married, my wife and I, this was kind of our movie that we discovered together, and it kind of encapsulated our time together. And I love this movie. It's a low-budget indie Sundance darling. I think it was 2000.
Yeah.
Greg Harrison's Groove. I love this movie. It's about one night at a rave in San Francisco, and it's all about all these disparate kids going to their first rave, or some of them are, and romance and coming of age. And I love this movie. And Matthew Irving, who's a friend of mine, shot this movie. And the remaster of this and the new sound design, incredible. This got delayed a few weeks. What's that?
It's from Sony?
Yeah,
It
it's
is
from Sony.
Rob?
It's from Sony. O-Ring. If you haven't seen this movie, I mean, if going to a rave, if you've ever gone to a rave, if you've ever thought of going to a rave, but this movie captures it, and it's not a spoiler alert to say that John Digweed, the famous DJ, does show up in this movie playing himself with a crate of vinyl to spin. I love this film, and to me, if you were to ask me about what was it like for you in the early 2000s in LA, I would say this movie captures a vibe that I was definitely living in from like 99 to 2004. So happy to have this movie. Looks great. It's an incredible remaster. And
I would say, Rob, beside the boutique labels, Sony is the one big studio company you can blind buy the 4K, considering what
their
they
4Ks
present.
are all well, because it's Sony, so they know how to do their transfers.
Yeah.
Banger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
So now back to you.
Okay, the last stuff from my haul. I know. A lot of people hate the show, especially the second season. But this was a Schnäppchen in America, and I was surprised that it's still available. Probably nobody bought it, considering that many people hate it. But I bought the steelbook of the second season for The Last of Us. Comes with a nice Firefly emblem here. And you've got the 3 4K discs for it. So this was nicely price reduced, Schnäppchen. And as a fan of the show, I couldn't say no. Can't wait for the 3rd season, which we hopefully will get. Next one of my favorites of the last year. Some say it got snubbed at the Oscars, at the Academy Awards, considering international feature. And PlayOn actually canceled their Ultimate Edition. They were planning to do here because there will be a longer version, longer cut coming out later this year but I wanted the theatrical already, and I bought German media book of No Other Choice from John Park-Wook, which was totally, once again, he killed it with this movie, especially with that ending, because for me, Rob, considering my firm, it was totally horrific to see that ending, even if it has nothing to do with actual what you would assume with horror. And you got the Blu-ray at the end, and of course here the media book part, pictures, and probably an essay for the movie. And when did that director does not deliver, especially the kind of movies that he does, and the topics that he always tackles. So No Other Choice, German 4K media book. Then speaking of series, this one, unlike Last of Us, most people seem to love, considering video game adaptations. I got it from America. It will come out here in internationally too as a steelbook. I got the second season of Fallout, which I totally enjoy. Always love the disc. Even the disc artwork is nice considering the game. And the American edition, I don't know if the German will feature those two. Just like with the first season, they put again some art cards with the steelbook, which are totally nice again. Let me just put them out here. Thoroughly enjoyed those art cards.
Wow, those are cool.
From New Vegas. And of course, our main protagonist. And when I first cut the art cards out of the envelope, Rob, and I thought, no, this is strange, because actually she was missing. And I thought, no, they left out the main protagonist. And then I saw, okay, there's still one art card left in that set. And the first season, the Steelbook, they did add some art cards too. I don't know if they're available here too. Fallout, some nice art cards. And we have 3 media books left. I probably bought the American Blu-ray back when it came out, and I'm sure, Rob, you know, as it always is, you buy the Blu-ray, and then 2 weeks later, the 4K get announced. We always do that kind of situation. And Rob, once again, you know, us Germans, we need a different title. Can't name it that way. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, we have a monster. It's an American movie. Okay, let's just name the movie American Monster. And what American Monster is, Rob, is actually Q, the winged serpent from Larry.
That's a
Cohen.
cool. That's a really cool media book.
Yeah, unfortunately not a 4K, but for me one of my nostalgia favorites, because even I saw that actually in the theaters here with David Carradine,
The great Larry Cohen.
and what Larry Cohen wrote, and the audio commentary from Larry Cohen, which he did alone, and I think there's a narrated one, which is actually really, really interesting, because like you said, they shot on the Chrysler building, and this is actually the lever that goes up into the Chrysler building, stuff you probably couldn't do anymore, you know, considering getting the rights to film even something like that. So you've got the movie gets 1 disc, and the extras are all features on the second disc.
Great.
But I'm sure, Rob, the 4K will be announced shortly. I'm sure of it. They got different cover artworks, but I decided I wanted to have the one with, of course, the Chrysler building. There's Chrysler building in it too. Then, really looking forward to see those movies again. I haven't seen them in a long time. And Film Juwelen brought them out here in 4K media books. The first one is Arlington Road. that they put out as
I like that
a media
movie.
book. So we got the 4K and the Blu-ray. Haven't seen that in forever. Hope they didn't botch the transfer like Hansa Sound did with Renegade. So hopefully they did a nice job here. So we've got Arlington Road. This is the first one. And the second one, I always remember less from the movie, Rob, actually more from the special features. Because this one back in the day, the DVD, they had really great making of, which where everything came to the table, the problems that the director had doing the movie, it was not just all sunshine and rainbows. So I remember this movie mostly more from the special feature of the making of the movie. Then I have to see it again. And I'm talking about the Mothman prophecies.
Oh, yeah.
With
I really like that.
Sheer. Yeah. So this is from Film Juwelen 2, 4K, and the Blu-ray. And as always, in the middle section, you get the media book part of it. But I can't tell you anything right now about those transfers because I haven't watched any of those yet.
Sure.
Because I'm in training as 007 at the moment, and that takes time. This is the last one
Precedence.
for my whole this week. Yeah, takes precedent exactly. This is the last one for me, Rob. The Mothman prophecies in 4K
Nice.
as a 4K media book from Film Juwelen is the German. Let me just see. Yeah, Film Juwelen is the German company. So, okay, Rob, this was my haul for this week. What do you have for news for us? What is coming down the pipe?
First of all,
because like I said, Max
first
is
of all,
unfortunately not here.
Stuckins J says, I'm a fan of movie posters, and I love to design and make them. How big is your collection, and what is your favorite poster that you own and don't own? Ooh, those are big questions. Well, first of all, the posters that we're selling, and that's on YouTube at Find Your Niche, I keep saying YouTube, Find Your Niche on eBay. And we're going to have thousands. They're between lobby cards, posters, inserts.
Yeah, you told us about 4,000 items.
Yeah, about 4,000 items when they're all up there. I mean, we're dropping them like we did the Bond drop this week. And then next week is fantasy films to honor He-Man. And then we're going to do Hitchcock and Disney and then 70s and 80s classics and 60s classics. I mean, there's so much stuff. My poster collection reached its zenith about 20 years ago. And I started collecting what I call big paper. Normally so most people collected one sheets. And one sheets were 27 by 41 until they were being made by the studios, and then they got rid of the white border. So they went to the edge of the image went to the edge of the poster, and they became 26 by 40. But I was collecting what they call big paper. So I was collecting French and Italian posters that were larger than one sheets, and then I was collecting American. The National Screen Service Corporation made what were called 3 sheets, which were 41 by 81. And then they were making 6 sheets, which were 81 inches by 81 inches. And then there were half sheets and inserts and all these off. They had all different kinds of shapes and sizes because movie theaters, the grand movie palaces, had need for them. And beginning in about 1980, when most movie theaters were changing over to becoming multiplexes and the big box giant theaters of old were closing down or being repurposed. So they stopped making big paper in about 1980. And you could still get big French and Italian posters. But so I had a huge poster collection, and I sold it. I sold most of my big paper. And I had a couple of posters that I really, really loved. Like I had an original Italian poster for Bicycle Thieves, the De Sica, the movie Bicycle Thieves. That was a stunning poster, and I had La Dolce Vita as well. And back then I sold, but I can't even say who I sold those posters to on the air, but they were sold to somebody everybody knows. And both of those posters sold for $35,000 for the two of them. And those are the kind of posters I had. But that Bicycle Thieves poster was amazing. A poster, there's a movie called Black Sunday. That's with Barbara Steele, Mario Bava's Black Sunday. One of my favorite posters of all time is the mask. It's for Mask of the Demon, but it's an Italian poster, and you'll see Barbara Steele's face and a hand come up, and it's mostly blue. And I had an original Italian four-sheet for that, which is incredible. That's one of my favorite movie posters of all time. There is a movie poster that I never owned. I never could get my hands on one, but it was for the John Cocteau's Beauty and the Beast. My friend Roger Fenton has one, although I haven't talked to him in years, so I don't know where he is or what happened to that poster. But I tried to get one of those, but it's exorbitantly expensive. Obviously the Tom Jung, the original Star Wars, and the Roger Costell Empire Strikes Back posters. I have 4 sheets of, 40 by 60s of both of those. They're rolled. But yeah, those are some of my favorites. I love the Bond posters. I love Bob Peaksworth work. I love Star Trek: The Motion Picture is a great poster, so I'm glad you got it. But I really liked, my whole thing about movie posters is that I like posters. First of all, I like painted artwork because I'm a comic book fan. Painted artwork went out when stars could have control over their likeness over the movie posters. And I think movie posters are totally a lost art. And there really hasn't been very many good movie posters since the mid-'80s. And I blame Simpson Bruckheimer for changing movie posters forever. They started really with Flashdance, where it was just the photograph of Jennifer Beals sitting there on the floor in her gray torn sweatshirt, and then they carried that over to like Beverly Hills Cop, where Eddie Murphy's just sitting on the hood of a red Mercedes. It was a single photographic image. But I liked artwork. I liked painted artwork. And I think the very best movie posters in one image mythologize. They kind of convey through one image what it feels like to watch the movie. And a lot of the Bond posters, I mean, I've got a lot of Bond posters still that I really love. You Only Live Twice, where Bond is hanging off the roof of the top of the volcano base. That's incredible. That's an incredible poster. And again, I have a 40 by 60 of that. But yeah, in terms of favorite movie posters, it's hard to say. I think the last truly great movie poster that I actually really, really, really love. There's been cool posters. There's been photographic posters that are cool. But my favorite poster of the last, well, now it's 36 years, is easily the poster for The Rocketeer. The Art Deco poster where he's blasting off and it says The Rocketeer. Yeah. That was, I think, the last inspired movie poster. Because what happened was they turned over movie posters. Again, when larger and larger corporations, there's people that just don't like painted movie posters. They don't like them. I mean, I look at Marvel and those are all photoshopped. It's amazing to me that no one got like Bill Sienkiewicz to paint an incredible Avengers one sheet. It's wild to me that in the world of superheroes, we don't have great artists painting posters the way they did for Bond or Star Wars. But
it's probably cheaper to do it the other way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you have to pay artists, and it's really expensive. And then and even then, when they brought back like Drew Struzan to paint the posters for the prequel trilogy, they fuck with his art. They change his art around, and I mean, it's because what we've lost is taste. And there's a lot of people that don't understand the evolution of movie posters. And again, it has to be this way, and this image has to be this way, and this like because of why? I don't know. So let's see. Do we have? Alexander Wilson sent in another tip and says, at Disney's shareholder meeting, Demaro introduced Hiroyuki Sanada to show a sizzle reel of Shogun Season 2. And the cinematography was beautiful. What are your thoughts on Season 2 since it comes out next year? Well, Dieter, did you watch Shogun?
Yeah, of course, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But like you told me, Rob, the story was actually finished with the first season,
Yeah.
considering the book, the novel. Okay.
Yeah, I mean James Clavell's novel was over, and so
Yeah.
look, I am dubious about a season 2.
Yeah.
I don't think that Mr. Sonata would allow it to not be good, and I think none of the people working on the show want it to be anything less than great. But that's a tall order. They have to come up with their own story, probably based in antiquity or history or whatever. But I am cautiously optimistic for the show.
Right.
So
Fingers
you
crossed
can't-
on that one.
Yeah.
But considering how successful it was, you have to do second
Yeah,
season, Rob.
totally.
It's the law, Rob. The law of the
It
entertainment
is the
business.
law.
Yeah.
It is the law. So we are caught up. We're caught up there. So
And I would say, Rob, what is coming down the pike? Because there was a big announcement this week.
big
Officially.
headline announcement. I made it the headliner. So Dieter, I will have to ask you. Obviously, Lionsgate Limited that already put out 2 great steelbook versions of Kill Bill 1 and Kill Bill 2 that I wrote articles about on the website. They're finally coming out and they're putting out this version. Now, from what I understand, it is an upscale because while Kill Bill 1 and 2 were shot on film, they were finished digitally. And they only have those digital masters. They didn't go back and I don't know what the whole if they cut the neg or what they did was. So this Kill Bill Volume 2 is an upscale. But that said, or Kill Bill, pardon me, this is the Kill Bill The Whole Bloody Affair. Look at this release.
But
this is
But I heard different rumblings, Rob, that it's not an upscale. I
don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I've got to look into that.
Yeah. 50-50, Rob. Fingers crossed, Rob.
Here is the limited edition from Lionsgate Limited. How cool is this?
Yeah, certainly.
So what do you think, Dieter?
Pulled out all the stops. And I heard, Rob, actually the VHS edition is sold out.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the yellow design, I heard that the VHS edition is actually sold out. Well, probably scalpers took
and then this is their standard version.
Yeah. Which is available on Amazon too.
Yeah.
And I would assume later in the year we will get internationally those versions too, with probably different box sets considering the movie. But for me, it's of course one of my favorites. And I already reached out, so I will probably get that set.
Oh yeah, you got to get it.
We waited long enough, even if you and I both already owned the old Japanese DVDs, which contained actually not exactly that version, but at least the stuff that's mostly featured or was always talked about, the fight sequence completely in color, uncut, which was of course the big one that was actually missing. Other stuff was more little tiny changes here and there, and of course you get a little bit longer of an animated sequence here.
Right.
And I have no problem with some people complain, why it's not on one disc. Come on, it's 4.5 hours or 4 hours, and it was already split in volume 1, volume 2. To have just a little bit of take a break, get to the bathroom quickly. For me, that is not an issue, Rob, that the movie is split on 2 discs.
No, because it's probably
I'd
the
rather
highest resolution, and they do have an intermission or something. So
yeah, and like you said, it was even an intermission when it played at theaters. You get an intermission too. And there were, even when I watched the digital stream, even there, but it wasn't just 15 minutes. It was just reduced to 1 minute, where there was actually a break. So for me, that's not an issue. But some complain, why it's not on one disc? I have to switch discs. But for me, considering the running time, totally fine with it. Totally fine.
Yeah. So we got that, and again, that
awesome.
coming out.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then
probably this could be actually an O-ring, considering the Amazon edition. I don't know if there's another cover beneath it. Hopefully would be nice.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
But I mean, come
Would be
on.
nice,
How
but-
great is that going to look on your
Yeah,
shelf?
Yeah. And I said the VHS edition, considering the yellow and black, looks awesome, but for me, would be a no-go. Can't use it. I wouldn't watch it. Even if I'm, Rob, one of those, the package is everything. Look how shiny it is. But even I say the VHS edition, no. Even if it looks dope.
Totally. Next up is Rocco,
Yeah.
the Mean Machine, coming from Calderon Films. Rocco emerges from a short prison sentence to find that one Don Avito, played by Arthur Kennedy, the ruthless smuggler who murdered his father, has also stolen his girlfriend. With the help of the ravishing petty thief Celia, played by Barbara Boucher from Don't Torture a Duckling, also a Star Trek episode called By Any Other Name. She's hot, hot, hot. He makes his way through the dastardly cast of characters who betrayed him in a legendary fury of blood-drenched vengeance. Famously marketed as Cauldron of Death in the U.S., Rico is from veteran Italian director Tullio De Mitchell and features a long list of familiar faces. So, there you go. Rico, the Mean Machine, coming out from Calderon Films. Now, Dieter, I don't know what you're going to think of this, but this had me at hello. I love they use the Carpenter font. It feeds on more than just your fears. I hope so, but this is pretty much every nightmare or fantasy I've ever had. When I go to sleep at night, Dieter, this is what I see. Just so you know. This is coming to us from Unearthed Films, and it's a Blu-ray release of the 2023 movie Bakemono, starring Leila Chiba, Miki Nomura, Setsuka Ariyama, and Takashi Irie, and a multitude. This is the description. A multitude of guests visit the same cheap Tokyo apartment at a different time, unaware of the gruesome creature waiting for them. Well, hell, son, I'm in. Count me in.
Rob, is that kind of live action tentacle porn? Tentacle porn?
It is. It's not.
Okay,
You're asking
Rob.
if it's hentai? I don't know. But what's not to love?
Yeah.
And then we got coming out from Studio Canal. We have. Oh no, this is BFI. Pardon me. Rocco and his brothers.
Okay. BFI.
This is Luchino Visconti. Rocco and his brothers, starring Alain Delon. Yay! And this comes out July 13th. And oh wait, I have the wrong thing up. Let me get the right thing up. And why is it not giving me? It's not giving me the right thing. Okay, now there we go. So what is this about? This is considered among one of the last works of the Italian neorealists and bridges the gap wonderfully between the old and the new in both storytelling and artistry. Now restored in 4K, it comes to UHD with special features. Released by the BFI on the 22nd of June, which extras include a new audio commentary by film historian Adrian Martin. The Italian maestro's epic follows a mother and her 5 sons who moved to Milan from a small town in southern Italy, changing their lives forever. This hypnotically beautiful tale of migration, loss, and sacrifice became a huge influence on the work of Coppola and Martin Scorsese. So that's pretty cool, right? You know.
Okay. Yep. They know what they're doing.
Then we come to Arrow. Arrow that continues with their march to excellence, and they are giving us some good stuff. Beginning with The People versus Larry Flint. I mean, not genre, not our bill of fare, but still getting into that library. I love The People versus Larry Flint. I'm glad they're putting it out. And look at, the artwork. They're going all out on these titles. What's not to love? And then we get this, which I don't know much about, but it's Shogun's Ninja. Before starring in John Wick Chapter 4 and Shogun, Hiroyuki Sanada, speaking of which, gets to showcase his physical prowess in his first lead role with 1980's Shogun Ninja, a madcap martial arts caper energetically directed by Norifumi Suzuki, who directed Wandering Ginza Butterfly, and co-starring Sonata's mentor, the legendary Sonny Chiba. So, hey, what's not to love? There you go.
Yeah.
Then we come to John Woo's Once a Thief, coming out from them, after the release by Shout Factory.
Cover artwork again.
What's that?
Nice cover artwork from Arrow.
Yeah, I like it. Legendary director John Woo unites with his three of Hong Kong's most charismatic actors in Chow Yun-fat, Sherry Chung, and Leslie Chung for Once a Thief, a rollicking blend of buddy comedy and heist movie with lashings of humor and, of course, Woo's signature pulse-pounding action. So that's quite the title. Always good to get.
Yeah.
Then we have Killer Party.
You have to tell me something about that, Rob. I don't know that movie.
William
Just
Fruit,
bring
the
it back.
director
Killer
of the Canadian exploitation or Canuck exploitation classics, The House by the Lake, Spasms, and Funeral Home, cordially invites you to the party to die for. The Sisters of Sigma Alpha Phi, or Phi, are throwing an April Fool's party, and they found the perfect place to hold it. The abandoned fraternity house where a pledge once took or lost his head in a hazing ritual gone horribly wrong. Partying turns to panic when it transpires that the dead pledge had a penchant for occult practices and his evil spirit returns to wreak revenge. So, who doesn't want to see this? It's an underrated slasher classic that deserves a place on the shelves of any 80s horror fan. Well, there you go, buddy.
Would remember that Killer Party.
Yeah, you will. Killer Party. And then we have Ju-on in 4K, The Grudge. Can't wait to get this. Big fan.
Right.
Ju-on The Grudge in 4K. And then we have also coming from Arrow, look at this, Troy, the director's cut, or as I like to call it, the prequel to the Odyssey.
The right timing, Rob. The right timing for a release.
They're certainly capitalizing on the release of the Odyssey. Yeah. Good on them. I like this movie. I will be picking it up.
Me too.
So there you go. And then we have Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, the second Bill and Ted movie.
One of my favorites.
So
I love that movie.
And introducing the great Bill Sadler, he of True Noir fame.
His death, so great,
back and playing Death. Yeah. Fantastic. Who doesn't love that?
3 out of 5. 3 out of 5.
It's true. Then Identity. Identity's coming out. An interesting movie. I like this movie. It's good.
Me too.
And then finally, a release of Stephanie. Now, I really don't know much about Stephanie, so I'm going to have to go back to the book.
Me neither.
And see what it says about Stephanie, which admittedly I don't know much about. But if it's coming out from Arrow, it's probably pretty good.
Okay.
Stephanie says, as I get to this, hang on. Skillfully blending elements of Mark Duplass's Creep with 1992's Man Bites Dog. This mismatched buddy movie such as The Cable Guy. Stephanie is a darkly comic thriller set in the world of amateur filmmaking that is as bleakly funny as it is disturbingly twisted. When Tim is committed and aspiring filmmaker encounters the eccentric Stephanie, it seems like a match made in heaven. Stephanie claims to be an experienced SFX supervisor and stuntman who quickly impresses Tim with homemade pyrotechnics. The two men decide to embark on a journey to Stephanie or Stefan's private island to film an ambitious World War II epic, taking along with it Stephanie's acquaintance, a selective mute refugee actress named Bianca. But as Tim and Stephanie's movie-making odyssey deepens, it soon becomes apparent that neither of them may be what they claim, and tensions escalate. Okay? I'll take your word for it. So there you go. Stephanie.
And I take yours, Rob.
Yeah. And then we get up to here. A lot of interesting stuff. This is Spike of Bensonhurst. Now, this is sort of a classic film. Spike of Bensonhurst. Fun City's putting this one out. Let's see. I remember seeing this movie back in the day. Spike of Bensonhurst, he's a wild, irresponsible, two-timing wise guy from Brooklyn, but you gotta love him. Spike Fumo aspires to boxing glory and even doesn't want to end up a loser like his dad, who's taking a rap in Sing Street for a local moss. When tough, handsome, and not very smart Spike hooks up with the mobster's blonde princess daughter, he angers the mob boss and is banished from the Italian restaurant, or the Italian Bensonhurst, not restaurant, the Italian, neighborhood. So there you go. Paul Morrissey's satiric comedy is wise and a very funny send-up. So there you go.
Okay.
Who doesn't want that in their life?
And here we have Rob, nice cover artwork.
Yeah, I really like the cover. I think it's really, really, really good. Yeah. Then we have the great Enemy at the Gates coming out. I mean, this movie's harrowing. I have 2 action
figures. As a 4K, Rob?
Yeah.
As a 4K? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, it is, sir. It is, in
totally
fact.
forgot Hoskins is in the movie. Okay.
Because why not?
I haven't seen it in a long, long time.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Back from the DVD days. Jesus.
And then we've got Enemy at the Gates. Who doesn't love this movie? Good stuff. Historical. Awesome.
Sniper against sniper, Rob. What's not
so
to
good.
love?
And then we have these now come to us from Eureka. We're seeing Eureka's slate, and this is Reap the Whirlwind. And I didn't mean to do that yet. So
and those contain, Rob, the 3 movies that I showed last week. They are from 88 films in the US, and here Eureka is putting them in that box set, actually. And there's a 4th one in it. But there are contained, I believe, the 3 that I showed last week. The Angry River, the Himalayan, and the Invisible 8, I believe. And there is a 4th one in the Eureka set.
Yeah, so we got Dance Macabre, Volume 5. We'll get to that Eureka set in a minute, I'm sorry. Dance Macabre Volume 5, which has a bunch of Spanish horror films in it, such as Strange Voyage. You've got The Exorcism's Daughter. I didn't know an exorcism can have a daughter because it's an event, not really a thing. Then we've got the Dracula Saga by way of liberated Spain. And then finally, The Return of the Screw, directed by Armando de Osorio's father. So that's cool. And I saw some of those in the Exorcismo documentary that also they put out, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
And then we have from Hammer Films coming out. Obviously, this is coming out from Hammer, and this is Break the Circle. So Break the Circle is a fascinating outlier in the Hammer library. This stylish crime thriller has been painstakingly restored in 4K from the original film negatives. Although Hammer's best known for horror, Break in the Circle represents the studio's sole full-blooded Eurocrime espionage thriller, released at the same time as the Quatermass Experiment, and it gives us a glimpse into what the studio's output might have looked like had it not been for box office success or its horror output. This makes Break in the Circle an excellent discovery for collectors, noir enthusiasts, and Hammer completists alike. So there you go there. That's pretty cool. The indie film I Shot Andy Warhol is coming out. So that's very cool.
Okay.
And not much to say about that.
Really Taylor. Okay.
And then we've got Scream Bloody Murder, Story of My Life.
Yeah. With every new Star Wars release.
Yeah. Scream Bloody Murder is coming to us from Grindhouse. It's preparing a Blu-ray release of this film, and it's expected to arrive on the market later this year. Now here's something I don't understand, nor do I pretend to understand it, but the Carry On films. The Carry On films. There's more of them than meets the eye. I don't know anything about them. I've never seen one, but if you're from Australia or in Great Britain, you know exactly what these are. So
Collection
more
5, okay.
more power to you.
I don't know anything about them either, but I remember people pestering you about them. Have you seen
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Hurry on, Phil. You should start with this one or that one.
Then we have Billy Liar, and this comes to us from Studio Canal. So that's exciting. Tom Courtney, Julie Christie, Wilfred Pickles, Ethel Giraffes, and Finley Curry. Whatever that is, but it sounds interesting. So Billy Liar is Tom Courtney delivers a star-making turn as William Terrence Fisher in one of the most memorable and universally acclaimed films of the 60s. I've never seen this. Running from an unsympathetic working-class family, a pair of demanding fiancés, and an insecure job at The Undertaker's, Billy escapes. Walter, Mitty-like, walks into a world of fantasy where he can realize his dreams and ambitions. As work and family pressures build to a raw, new, intolerable level, Liz, an early charismatic turn from Julia Christie, enters into his drab life and offers Billy the one real chance he's never got to leave the past behind. So there's that. And let's see, Enemy at the Gates, already did. Then we've got Reap the Whirlwind, and these are the films. What's that?
That is what I told you.
Yeah.
Eureka puts those 4 movies into that box set that showed last week. The US release from 88 Films, which released the movies independently.
Yeah. So that's cool that they're putting all those out, which you have. Then they're releasing the Return of the Phantomos saga. This is from the 60s.
Ooh.
Phantomos Returns. That's a really cool release from Eureka. And then we've got Zen and Sword. A lot of Asian films coming to us from them, too, which is great. Who doesn't love that? Then we've got The Wizard of the Kremlins coming out. I didn't know if this ever would. Paul Dano, but it is. It's coming out. So there you go.
New movie.
Yeah, and then we've got Delirium. This is an Australian release from Umbrella. So it's cool to get that out. That looks I love all this packaging. I mean, I think it
looks wacky.
Yeah, it does. It does look wacky, but it also looks.
But what is this, Rob? I see Thriller here. Thriller, the movie Thriller. Then Flash Gordon. Is this a trailer collection? I don't.
Oh yeah, that's what. Pardon me. That's
documentary?
yes. I'm sorry. That's a trailer collection. Yes.
Ah, trailer collection. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. September release trailer collection. So that's exciting. So that's
Drive in Delirium. Oh, okay. A new beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they're putting out Ninja Wars. Which don't know. And then of course they're also putting out. Look at this. Exit 8.
Oh, nice. Exit 8.
So you can get that for your fans. And then this is coming. This is the Extreme Collection number 3. Umbrella's been putting them out, and they're all kind of bangers. But I'll tell you what's on this. A lot of these have been previously released, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Let me just look here. Wow, it's not saying anything. Okay, Trouble Every Day, Irreversible, Cage. Well, okay, we've got Trouble Every Day, Irreversible, Caged, and Raw. So most of these have been released before.
Yeah.
In other countries. So if that's your thing, you can get it.
But I don't know, Rob, the first one here, Trouble Every Day, doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, that just got re-released.
Okay.
And it's a vampire movie. It's a vampire movie. And then we go to The Saint. Now, I would normally think that Paramount would have licensed this to Kino Lorber, but in fact, they have not. Paramount Home Video Distribution is putting this out. So there you go. I don't know how that's going to work, but hey, it's happening. So we'll
strange policy.
Yeah.
Considering.
And then 88 Films is putting out Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Sick of Butter edition. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But it is coming out from 88 Films if you missed it when it came out from Studio Canal. But there it is. This is the Italio Crime Kino Lorber box set. They've been setting all kinds of French films, but now they're on the block set.
Here it's the other way around, Rob. You get in America here the Kino Lorber version with I believe 3 or 4 movies, and you presented the UK ones, which are separate releases. So completely the opposite.
Well, but this one, these Italian crime
Unlike-
discs come all together now, and they span from 1973 to 1977. The Counselor, a.k.a. Counselor of Crime, Blazing Magnum, a.k.a. Shadows in an Empty Room, Weapons of Death, a.k.a. Naples Shoots Down, and I think that's it. That's pretty cool. Oh, yeah, because there's only 3 of them.
So just for the personal wallet, Rob, it's probably better you get a collection with all movies.
Yeah, I totally
instead of
agree.
purchasing them individually.
Yep. And then we've got Chusey Stone. I mean, obviously a Japanese artist, but I don't know off the top of my head who this is. Yeah. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. But
a double bill of 80s Japan, girls, gangs, drugs, and violence. Okay,
I'm in. Girls, gangs, and violence. Yes. Yes,
Hopefully
please, sir. So, and something that's called Blow the Night. Yeah. Story of my life. Love it.
Yeah.
So there's that in case you want it. Hey, it's all good. And then, of course, we have this. We have boxes. And now this is from Transmission. This is from Radiance's sub-label. Yeah. And after following up on the Exorcismo Franco's Spain, this is TV in Franco's Spain. So that's kind of interesting. I found that interesting that they're doing that. So, hey, what's not to love? Yeah. And then let's see, we got classic Betty Boop cartoons hitting us. The Fleischer Saga, the Fleischer Time. So that's volume 1. And then we've also got, it's Kino Lorber, Kiss the Spider Woman, the new Kiss of the Spider Woman. Kind of neat.
The new movie with Jennifer Lopez and Diego Luna.
Yeah. And then after that, we've got The Stranger, a Curzon film by Francois Ozon. So there you go. Okay. Hey, French people, always beautiful, always doing illicit things. I love that. And then we've got High Risk is coming out. You know, another one of these great, 70s titles. I used to love this movie. I haven't seen it probably since I left in '83 and went to college. I don't know, but this is good. I'd definitely get this one.
Yeah.
And then we've got this is the Le Mans movie, 30 Minutes at Le Mans. I will say this does have the coolest car. You can see it clearly on the right. I love the car. I love the car. Chicks do dig the car. It's true. So got to get on that. And then, of course, the biggest HD releases, that's all formats other than 4K. Flight Risk. You have to change that one. Flight Risk. And then we've got Welcome to Derry. The complete season is number 2. Yeah. I Can Only Imagine is number 2, number 3 as well. I don't know what that is. Goat, number 4, hanging in there. Money Ball itself has come out. I love that film. That is number 5. Dracula 2025. Luc Besson's Dracula is number 6. Shelter? Is that okay? Shelter's number 7. Kingdom of Heaven, a re-release. Own the Garden Wall and Bridesmaids. Yeah. Wow, that's an interesting.
The Garden Wall was in the top 10 last week too, Rob. But help me out, Rob. Is that correct here? Moneyball Studio Anchor Bay?
No, that is not. Although it might, they might have released the disc. So I don't know. I have to look. Okay. Now I want to know. They might have released the disc.
Because Anchor Bay for me is a flash from the past.
They have come back. They might have been releasing Moneyball rights issues. Who knows?
I was thinking it is a Sony title. Okay, what do I know? Okay.
And then we have the top-selling 4Ks. This is just 4K. Number 1, to no one's surprise, Fight Club. Number 2, it says Anchor Bay here, so it must be. Moneyball. Number 3, Kingdom of Heaven. Number 4, Bridesmaids. Number 5, Dogma. Number 6, Akira. Number 7, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Trilogy. And then
You will
welcome
love
Derry, the complete first season, Alice in Wonderland, and Doo-Doo, The Thing.
Thing. Nice.
So there we go. That's
I see.
all the news that's fit to print. So whatever that means, we're done.
Haha.
So
Okay.
is it time for the
So
live
if you
chat
want-
for you?
Yeah, I do the live chat, Rob. So we have previously on Let's Get Physical Media. We have RFV Media Student. What? Rob kept some Star Wars posters? No! Actually, he didn't. Some of the Star Wars posters are on Find Your Niche, eBay store, subs label, Imagination Connoisseurs. There are some Star Wars posters actually that Rob put out for sale. Filmaniac. Rob obviously has not seen the terrible 4K of the Phantom, sticking with Blu-ray. Yeah, I heard some reviews about the 4K of the Phantom. Not everyone is happy, and they're saying the Blu-ray is actually a better version from that 4K master. I have to look at the Blu-ray. I was fine with the 4K. I wasn't actually not blown away either, but they say the
I'd
Blu-ray
have to
is
look
actually
too.
better, the better one in that package. RFV Media Student again. The Cheap Detectives is a wonderful film. Catch it while you can. This is not a live chat, Rob, but considering we have to go back just for a quick second to The Mandalorian and Grogu, I saw a German review for the movie, Rob, and they said something where I thought, yeah, this is the perfect quote that I want to see on the steelbook or the cover of the Blu-ray. The German meaning is Endstufe der Ambitionslosigkeit. The translation is, Rob, the ultimate stage of lack of ambition. Which I thought was perfect description for The Mandalorian and Grogu. And Richard Craig said that Star Wars movie sucked so badly, unfortunately. 8-Bit Psych, aka Walter Whitewalker, there was a Martin Scorsese cameo too, buddy. So probably addressed to me, considering I said, that Dave Filoni had that cameo in it too. But Martin Scorsese has not a cameo. He's playing a voice. He's actually playing a role. But Dave Filoni is just a cameo, sitting there with his cowboy hat. So one is a role, one is a cameo. So Martin Scorsese, for me, it's not a cameo when it comes to Mandalorian and Grogu. Richard Craig, Robert, please talk like this when John is back. Be honest. Yeah, we'll get a little bit more ranting stuff here on Robservations. Considering Rob said putting down the helmet is stupid, Scarpet says Vader kept his helmet on. Yeah, but he needed that helmet to survive, actually. Mandalorian does not. Rob Lego Patriot says, I live for Rob's rants. We all certainly
That's nice
do.
to hear. Thank you very much for that.
Victor Fontaine. What's funny is this Mando movie that just a bad TV movie with a Star Wars named Throne in this year had a higher opening weekend than Project Hail Mary. Yeah, but look at where we are now. As we always tell you, the second weekend is the telling. The first one is important, obviously, but the second one is the telling one. If a movie has a hold, or will it drop into obscurity, or like we see with Obsession, which we normally never see, that the movie has even a bigger second and third weekend. Normally we always know you get around a 50-40% drop, you're pretty fine with that. But to get more is pretty random. Rob Lego Patriot, I just discovered Banshee. What a great series. Actually, I saw the series with Anthony Starr before actually the boys came around, and the Banshee is actually really a great action series with Anthony Starr in a little bit of a different role before he became Homelander. Alpinal 666, I watched the 4K of Soldier and had a good time with it. Very nice edition. Nice to know. I need to get on that. Richard Curtis, want to see Normal, the movie with Bob Odenkirk. Was disappointed by Nobody 2. I loved the first Nobody, and I think you will like Normal, because Normal was, for me, way better than Nobody 2. Here we have it, Big This Energy. I would love to know what Rob and Dieter thought about Face of This. I talked about it. I thought they had a really nice setup for doing some sort of remake. Like I said, it's only a remake in name, but it did something different with that property from back in the day. 8-bit side, so was Homelander only, considering Homelander from The Boys, only a god to the US. If you are a god, wouldn't you want to be in charge of the entire universe, or at minimum the entire Earth? He was only god in the Oval Office at the end of The Boys. Benjo Sandwich says, Baby says, Assassins, yeah. And Joseph, DIETER Santos, no, not me, Amazon. Amazon soon took the sending for me. I just put it in the basket. And Richard Curtis says, who are the baby assassin? One looked kind of like Frost. She has blonde hair, but it's the only comparison that you can make to Frost. And Major Charger says, love the parental approach DIETER took. Same sets to each of them. Yeah, you know, Major Charger, like those old kids are. Oh, he got me this, he got me that. He loves me more, he loves me more. So I decided both get the same, that we don't have any discussions later. So both got the 3 baby assassin movies. Jamie Farah says, what is the hold up for the rest of For All Mankind on Blu-ray? Only 2 seasons on DVD in US, but the UK has all of them. In all honesty, perhaps the sales, if they're not there, fingers crossed they are continuing to release them, or perhaps wait even a little bit. We will get the 6th season, perhaps, if the 6th season is finished. Fingers crossed, perhaps a box set. That would be nice. Secular Monk, have RB and DIETER presented any physical media yet? When we get to the live chat, yeah, we certainly did, because we were already 1.5 hours into the show when you sent that question. And Max is not here, but there are some stuff from the live chat for him. Benjo Sandwich said, Max explains great. And Hilton Feinart says, thanks for reviewing these noir sets, Max. I'll be picking them up as soon as they pop up in a kino sale. Justin Toner says, I love Max's reviews. Albital, the uproar, we talked a little about that last week, the uproar about those changes in the Fight Club 4K is ridiculous. Secular Monk, 6527, never heard of Sandhill. Well, you are the lucky guy then, if you never heard of that movie. Adventure Square, to be honest, I showed last week Speed Racer, which I'm not a fan of, and Adventure Square says, to be honest, I don't get the massive love for this film either. You and I, sir, park our shuttlecraft in the same shuttle bay. And the original Captain Durak says, Speed Racer is a dull movie. You can park your shuttlecraft in my hangar too. Secular Monk, I love Second Sight's packaging. I just wish they would give their treatment to things I wanted to watch. I think Second Sight has a really nice foothold in the genre that actually I like to watch. Unfortunately, Rob didn't feature it in the news section, but I'm very happy with their new announcement, getting the Coldplay movies in a box set. Really looking forward to it. And Rob, you showed last week The Devil's Candy and Insomnia, and I was thinking, wait, why get that douche from the US already has those? And I totally forgot to order them, Rob. So during the week, I pre-ordered or ordered back. Luckily, the box sets were still available for Insomnia and Devil's Candy. Secular Monk says the original Insomnia is better than the Nolan one, in my opinion, and Nolan's is very, very good. Okay, that's nice to hear. And the last one from Walter Whitewalker, 8-bit side. Will you be selling a Goonies poster? If Rob even has those, he would have burned them at the stake. Rob, this was the live chat readout from last week. Or do you have any Goonie posters for the people to buy? Rob, are you still there? Or am I alone here? Probably Rob is underway. So what can I tell you? Okay, we have the Alex Sorba. Speed Racer is not dull. It's just not very good. Okay, that's totally fits the bill, I would say. Let me just see what we have here. Paul and Brunotto, you forgot 88 Films 4K box set of the Pink Panther. Yeah, I've seen that, but I thought I've seen the UK one. But the UK one, I believe, is not a box set. The UK was just, I think, mentioning of, I believe, only the first one. Let me just see what I can pick up there. And I was sure Rob showed the Le Mans set. Wasn't there actually is a 4K announcement for Le Mans? Okay. Yes, Grand Prix is shot for real. What do we have here? Got the cone. So let me see if I can go back this far. I can pick anything up, even if I will go through the live chat obviously later again. Oh, here we have Walter Whitewalker, 8-bit site with a super chat. He says, been bouncing between Spider Noir and the Burrows. Both are really fun. The color version of Noir actually presents like a colorized black and white movie. Yeah, like I said, you can totally watch it in color or black and white, or do it like I did. Switch it up. One episode in black and white, one in color, and go back and forth, because I think they're both terrific. Both look exceptional. And we have Walter Whitewalker again, 8-bit Psych. For All Mankind 5 went out with a bang and tears and GW. I don't know what you mean about that. And tears and GW. What does GW stand for? Whitewalker. So let me just go back as far as I can here on my tablet. Okay, this was the one that Rob has read. I'm a fan of movie posters. Yeah, this was the last one here. So, Rob, are you back? Okay, he's not back. Okay, if anyone has anything to say. Oh, Dieter, how are the Tiger on the Beat transfers? Yeah, it's back here. I have only seen the first one, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've never seen Tiger on the Beat, didn't know. It actually, strangely enough, it's called in Germany Born Hero 2. So here the first one is actually a sequel to another movie, I think with Brandon Lee, Legacy of Rage, is called Born Hero. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I've never seen Tiger on the Beat, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I have not seen the second one, but the first one is totally dope. And I've never seen a chainsaw fight as in this one, but I haven't seen the second one. And the transfer was really nice, but unfortunately, I have no reference, considering this is the first time I own those movies. And I don't know why they passed me by in the 80s. So the second one, I still need to watch, but they are just as crazy as the cover is promising you, especially with the chainsaw. Insane. And if you can give me scenes that I will always remember, because I say I've never seen anything like that. So considering the transfer, really, really nice one, but I have no reference. Never owned those movies. So what have we here? Yeah, Chainsaw Duel, correct, Drew Gordon. Never seen the sequel, Eagle. Okay, we'll get on that. Probably perhaps a step down. You know how it is with those sequels. But considering the stunt work that you see in those movies, it's insane. You sometimes think when they're able to do that or get away with it. Insane. The car stuff, unbelievable. But the comedy is obviously not always working for us Westerners. It's a little bit slapsticky, and it's really, really kind of surprising. Always you get those insane violent stuff combined with the slapstick moments. It's pretty insane. Okay, so what can I tell you else? Okay, I started playing First Light, but I'm just still at the beginning. I'm still waiting for the moment. I hope they incorporate this James Bond theme at some point, but I'm still not a double O yet. But I heard good things about it. I actually waited until the first reviews came out before I decided to purchase the game. But I totally forgot actually that the game came out, and then I saw, First Light came out. The reviews were pretty cool, pretty good, and I said, okay, I have to get it. And then I started, where can I get it at least a little bit cheaper? And it was actually, the normal edition was actually not available on Amazon. Probably a little bit of a shortage there too. Just see, what can I tell you anything about those ones? Like I said, the audio commentary from Larry Cohn is really interesting, considering the stuff that they are shot in New York there. So, but I have gone through everything, except for I watched yesterday the big wrestling thing that was on the air, the Triple A show in Mexican, where we have a German playing an American, playing a Mexican, and they had a great storyline that came to full fruition yesterday when he did win the final match. Some say it's already one of the matches of the year. Totally insane storyline. Loved it.
Well, tell us about that, dude. I mean, you were talking about that earlier. Yeah. So, by the way, Paul Bernardo says that there's a box set from 88 films of the Pink Panther movies, which I did neglect to mention.
Yeah.
I did forget to put that in. But there is
I just saw, Rob, I think a UK one, but this was just I believe just the one movie.
Yeah, well, Kino Lorber is putting out the box set. They already put out their versions of the movies. Yeah. So their 88 Films is putting out a box set.
Okay.
That's cool.
So I think, Rob, actually, we are through with everything. Because
That's it?
Skip through the last super chats as far as I could go back.
8-bit site. 8-bit site says you already did you do you bounce between those?
Yeah. And Rob, you said you put out fantasy posters at the end of the week, considering Masters of the Universe, Rob. And I saw the headline, Rob, that actually Masters of the Universe is getting the IMAX screens away from Star Wars.
They are pulling The Mandalorian and Grogu out of IMAX theaters, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah. And what I totally love, considering the promotion, I think it's great that they involve Dolph Lundgren in it.
Oh, totally.
This was the main actor. That's great that they're doing a little bit back and forth between the two. You know, how different was it back in the day when he shot the first one, and now I think it's great that they incorporate Dolph a little bit in.
I have to say, I think the movie, the more I've seen from it, I love the music. I hope I have to say, I'm excited, dude. I'm excited. I think it's going to be good.
So I guess, Rob, Masters of the Universe is one of the double features. Which is the second movie that you will do with Elro next?
I don't know yet. We always pick. I mean, I still want to see Tuner. I don't know if we're going to see that or see it on our own. I know he wants to see it with his dad, so I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but I do want to see that. So.
Because I don't know if anything other than Masters of the Universe is big on the table for next week.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure what opens. So yeah, we'll have our fantasy poster drop, on Friday. There's some really diverse, interesting stuff in that. But yeah, we'll have some cool stuff.
Awesome. So people, we will be back next week with hopefully Max again. Fingers crossed, perhaps he won something and he let us know. And hopefully next week, Max, I know you probably watch the show later. You have stuff to do. You know, your homework is if your little one has seen Dr. No, what he thought of it, and hopefully we will get to that Slam Evil review of yours, of the Phantom.
We will. Week. We will get that.
Beside Noir. Now, so, on my end, I have to say, jede Person, die du triffst, hat eine Geschichte zu erzählen, die du noch zu hören hast. Alles, was du tun musst, ist zuhören.
Every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear, and all you have to do is listen. And I have a new sign-off, too, which is, remember, there's always more fun to be had.
Yeah.
So
like people said, the Mandalorian Grogu, it was fun. It was fun.
There you go. And I do want to thank everybody for generously supporting the channel via Super Chats and tips. And I want to thank our moderating staff for being awesome. And Tom Jr. Jackson and Darth Plato and everybody. And yeah. And then what else can I say? Other than remember, if you're, the movie poster auction and sale has been a lot of fun. We're making our way through it, but there's a lot more to come. The Bond posters went up. There's some really interesting stuff. I mean, the Live and Let Die 6 sheet's really, really cool. That's 81 inches by 81 inches. It comes in 4 separate panels, though, so you have to get it. I would mount it on linen because that's a pricey poster anyway. And but to frame it, 81 inches by 81 inches. That's a lot.
Tough one. That's a tough one to do. Yeah.
So you can find all of those at Find Your Niche, the eBay store, Find Your Niche, Gabe's store, and then underneath there's a sub-store, RMB's Imagination Connoisseurs, and everything that's up is the Star Wars auctions are ending soon, so if you've ever wanted to get an original Star Wars poster, we have both the original one sheet, there's a D sheet, there's original Empire posters, both the A and the Roger Costal poster, and then there's the B sheet. There's a lot of interesting stuff, and then the Bond posters are up too. So those auctions are running.
And as we heard from Rob on the John Campia show, there are only 2 Star Wars movies.
Well, the others are the
worst one and the best
one. There are 2 major league Star Wars movies. Then everything else is the minors.
Well, correct. I was so that I had such a great laugh, Rob. You shocked the whole internet with that.
John was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, well,
John doesn't like it though. I don't think John likes it when I try and make jokes like that. But I mean, after listening to his talk
at first everyone was thinking, okay, Rob is going the other direction, the best first, and then goes down to the worst.
It's all about the fun.
But here, a pin drop in the internet. You shot them all with that. The worst is Star Wars, and the best is Empire. Okay,
I will be back tonight with the last Robservations of May, and it's my friend Mike Schertz's birthday today. So happy birthday! He turns 59 today. Happy birthday, Mike!
Ooh, happy birthday!
All right.
See you next week.
See you next week, everybody, and buy some more discs.
Obviously.
And that's it. We're out.
Okay. Rob,